Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. Today, I believe we need to present this, right? Because there was no way blood went down the handle, yeah? Because there's no blood past, what, the 70% mark of that blade? So present.
Take that!
Is that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. Vehemently? Yeah, sure. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, then there should still be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of this sword. And there's no trace of blood on it at all. And therefore, there's clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
Huh. The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memory. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. Yes, you can in a murder case. What are you talking about? But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memory means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memory be? The blood was wiped off the weapon, the defendant used a different weapon. I would assume the different weapon. Miss Cykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a different weapon other than a katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Athena's life was the katana, that much is for sure. So, if I show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocence. So you're saying she still attacked her mother, but didn't kill her? Is that what you're trying to go with? A different weapon, you say? The weapon, what weapon would that be exactly? Right, of course he would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he know that? But I can't back down now, not here, not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. Good one, Phoenix. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other blade in the robotics lab that day? Not in the pictures, it looks like. Maybe there's something in one of the crime photos. Wait a minute, there is something. Where? What? There's a high probability that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in the evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like this. Other than the katana, this is the other blade. The utility knife? That's not in the photos, right? Oh, there's a toolkit. Is that what you're going with? Okay.
Take that!
But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Terran case. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this one at the scene 7 years ago. Toolkits containing utility knives like this, or the ones like this one, are issued to the Space Center employees. And robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But besides the katana, no other blades were found at the site. It was the investigation report, if you didn't know, wasn't it? Of course I knew that. Once you told me just now. Then there's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of the contents. Ah, there's one missing. There you go, dog! You're right. I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Oh, do they spell the space station's name? But they're all out of order. Huh. Fine, but isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? Therefore, there are no other bladed weapons in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This tool kit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? I don't know, the missing slot? Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You're the last person in the world who should criticize my aesthetic sense. Now, he's simply watching out for your ocular health, and now proceed, Mr. Wright. It's like the first time in this game Edgeworth is pissed. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. I see that they do, but what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from the kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Edgeworth, just let it go, man. It wasn't that personal. Show the court then, if you please. What pattern of the design would we see if we were to rearrange the tool? What pattern or design? So you're not asking for the knife. Because you would have simply asked if you were... Like, what? Yeah, okay. So, do you want the logo? Like this?
Take that!
And what design is that supposed to represent? The, Yakon logo, Your Honor? I don't fucking know. It's all over the Space Center's document and pamphlets. And you're aware this is the program that operates Cosmos Space Center. Look, it's a word Chronos can't say. You mean like many words, Athena? Shut the fuck up, alright? He's not that bad. I mean, he's bad, but he's not that bad. I think I see it now. But, yeah, just with just the tools shown in this photo, the red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. And if you were to place a utility knife in the open slot, is that really a utility knife? Or is it just a knife? I don't know. When I think like a utility knife, I think like a box cutter or a blade on like a multi-tool or something. Not just a knife. I mean, I guess it can be, but still. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a knife. They would complete the logo. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. Your aesthetic is shit. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while we're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Cykes used could have been this one. Order in the court. Mr. Cykes, Ms. Cykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Ms. Cykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Cykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Ms. Cykes remembered couldn't have been that of Dr. Cykes. What? Okay. Yeah, I guess she only technically has one hole in her. Okay, look, that comes out wrong, and if you take it that way, it is just wrong. But at the same time, get your heads out of the gutter. So, you're saying she stabbed someone, but it wasn't her mother? Right? Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Cykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Am I misreading this? I don't know. Come again? I will in a minute. What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real murder weapon that took the victim's life was a utility knife? Don't be ridiculous. Or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived by your logic. Miss Cykes could have put the blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her own personage until Blackwell arrived to carry her away. That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Cykes' memories and the evidence. If, in fact, the murder weapon is the utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proved the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
No, I didn't! The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder, and the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands. No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Cykes who killed her mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does it keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and it's supposed to come back at me. It's almost as if... Oh, Jesus Christ, Wright. Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradiction keeps vanishing because the charge is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. Phoenix Wright, when will you open your eyes and accept the truth? Yeah. I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. I reject your reality and substitute my own. But what if, Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you would have done all you. I think you've done all you can do. Is giving up really the only option? No! Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Throwing a tantrum and throwing like your head in your hands while Athena's watching? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. That's the root of all of my problems, really. Now, Your Honor. No, Your Honor, not yet. It isn't over yet. Right. I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her. To the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his clients. Or at the very least tries to get him a lesser sentence. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix, unlike Chronos's. If I don't see a way, I'll just have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case thoroughly. I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with a utility knife. I know, you said that! And that's what's confusing me, like... Where is it? Oh, that was a lot of text we just went through. No, we can't go back enough, okay. This must have been when Ponko witnessed Athena's hug. But Prosecutor Blackwell didn't see the knife at the scene. That means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the utility knife from the lab? Athena Cykes? Metis Cykes? Someone else. Ooh, probably not Athena, right? So, it could be Metis Cykes, right? Maybe like, oh, I gotta get rid of this. Maybe to try to protect her daughter. Maybe. It could be someone else. Are we trying to say that someone else was there? Because you implied earlier that she stabbed someone, but it wasn't Dr. Cykes. At least that's how it read. So, someone else? A third person was at the scene. If I trust Athena, then I have to conclude that there was a third person at the scene. But according to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. So then, how did this third person manage to escape Ponko's detection? I know, this person must have fooled Ponko's facial recognition by covering their own face. Hid their face, okay. Right, okay. That kind of makes that, I guess, faulty feature. It's not really a faulty feature, it's by design. That feature makes the robot not a very great witness if you can just cover your face, right? But wait a minute, Ponko has a heartbeat detection system too. Oh, okay, you know, way to cut me off there. Even if they covered their own face, Ponko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it. Culprit could have covered their face and posed as which person to avoid detection. I mean, what? Okay. It's not Ponko. It's not Blackwell. It has to be Metis, then. Because Blackwell showed up later. The person posed as the victim. The culprit posed as the victim. That would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features. The culprit used this in order to pose as the victim. Her jacket? Because her jacket has a whole, like, slash in it. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Right. There. Okay. Culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing her jacket with the ID tag on it. But that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Cykes' heartbeat, too. So does this mean that the real Dr. Cykes was already dead at the time? If that's the case, then who did Athena stab? Not the victim, Chronos. The real culprit? Yes. Athena stabbed the real culprit. That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Cykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit. Now, Phoenix, I know you're probably right, and I just picked all those, but that is a fucking leap. Right? I don't know. I know, I'm sure, like, all the evidence is there, clearly, and I'm sure it's gonna make sense in the end. But I would have, most of the time in this game, I have a hard time believing a real court would just be like, what? They wouldn't just be like, you know what? Yeah, you're wasting the court's time. But I don't know. That's a huge leap. Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to the hostage negotiations. The sniper has her in the sights. You're absolutely right, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Objection!
Get objected, apparently. I didn't say I was finished. I was only pausing for a second. Had to make something up. Because I realized something so shocking I had to take a break to digest it. But now I know for a fact that Miss Cykes is innocent. Ponko saw me! He witnessed the moment of the crime! Yes, Ponko did see something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you use the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother. What are you saying, Mr. Wright? The answer is simple. The person Ms. Cykes stabbed was a third person posing as Dr. Cykes. What? You know, he was kind of implying that earlier. You really expect me to swallow that, Mr. Wright? Unless I misread it and somehow just fucking figured out you were trying to apply to third person. I don't know. It was weird, right? Because he's like, oh yeah, she stabbed her. But then all of a sudden it's like, but it wasn't Dr. Cykes. I forget the exact words. It's been what, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? No, it's been 20 minutes episode so far. I don't know. According to the robot's statement, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time? What does the rapper have to do with this? After all we've been through, Miss Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence? Or that I'm bullshitting you? Or lying completely? Or just hiding my emotions? Ha! You make that pose all the time regardless of the facts. Okay, yeah, fair. Clonko's strange malfunction. Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay? Yeah, I know. Those ID. Or Ghost, one or the other. That was another case of mistaken identity caused by the jacket ID tag. All because Clonko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to the eye patch. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial features, or recognition, and then all a person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag to pose as her.
Objection.
Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robot also had a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by the time Dr. Cykes' heart had already... By that time, the Dr. Cykes' heart has already stopped. What? So does that mean... Yes, Your Honor. The person Ms. Cykes stabbed... This third person who is posing as Dr. Cykes is her mother's real killer. But that's... impossible! Are you alright, Edgeworth? No! A mask? The person I stabbed was wearing a mask? But I wanted to stab my mom! Oh, what? Order! Miss Cykes, did you say something? A mask? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I remember Athena! What is it? I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head. Miss Cykes, are you alright? No, clearly she's not, dude. No! The black psyche locks. They're breaking. Well, one of them is breaking, dude. Okay, never mind. It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened that day my mother was murdered. They're gone. The black psyche locks are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day. I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then... It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe. See, she was on the floor by the workbench, and the katana sticking out of her... With the katana sticking out of her... wait, okay. Was Plonko already there? Ponko? Whatever the fuck its name is? Panko? Wouldn't... I don't know. Wouldn't they already detected 2 heartbeats and then 1 and then 2? There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there. A man?
Hold it!
Quiet, Your Honor. Shut the fuck up. Go on, Athena. He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again. Yeah, that's right. You keep stabbing until they stop attacking you. And this time you got him, didn't you? I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me and I passed out. I mean, that's not the same knife. That's Clay's knife. And when I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her, I thought. So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart. Ugh. To fix her. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Ms. Cykes arrived. A man covered in the victim's face. A man who covered the victim's face. That would be like way darker if he was in the victim's face. And put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Cykes, do you have any idea who this man was? No, I'm afraid I don't. A few moments ago, Ms. Cykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything else about that? Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall in the lab. Ah, the mask hanging there on the wall. It was kind of spooky, that mask. Yeah, no, it's fucking horrific. My mom used to tell me that a no mask me even has the power to turn the ordinary person into ordinary human into a phantom. A phantom? It would seem that a new suspect has emerged, and that means that all suspicion against Miss Cykes has... You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Cykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Ms. Blackwell. You just hear Edgeworth over. He's like, take a shot. This is not good. A new suspect. Where's the proof this person ever existed? I mean, you have a point, to be quite honest, because honestly, there's really there's got to be proof somewhere in my evidence for sure. But I don't know. I don't think the judge would have been just like, oh, that clearly makes you innocent after hearing a testimony, even though we have nothing to go with it. Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head? Yeah, she's right. We don't have any hard evidence of this masked person's existence.
Objection!
I object to that. Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother. Athena, I'm so glad for you. More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. to recharge. Yes, I know, we saw this last time. Even though that was technically a few days ago because I didn't have time to actually record the last couple of days. But I guess where you're going, I see where you're going with this. If Mummy Metis was really the killer in disguise. Right, then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m. Do you have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person, find the person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? No. Wasn't there another one with him walking down a hall? Yeah, I thought there was another picture to this where he was walking towards... Am I fucking, like, imagining things? I mean, I'll try presenting this, but I don't think it's gonna work. Alright, so, yeah, I guess let's go ahead and present this. Oh, my controller shut off. I had to go let the dog out. And let Kovu in. It was a twofer. It took like 30 minutes. This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene of the incident around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does this video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Very well then, let's take a look. There! Please stop it right there! It's just like you said, there's a man leaving the scene. They didn't check? What do you mean they didn't check? Miss Cykes, do you remember this person? That's him! I'm sure of it! He was wearing my mother's jacket! Jacket on display. That was Dr. Cykes. As you can see, there's a slash I made, can you see it? There's a slash I made with a utility knife that day. I'm sure the knife is under the jacket somewhere. So then, everything Miss Cykes said. Exactly. It proves that Miss Cykes' memory was correct. Dr. Cykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hit her face with a handkerchief. Then, he disguised himself with Dr. Cykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Ponko charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Ponko to come to the lab for her regular checkup or recharge. By leaving Dr. Cykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Cykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up until the point in time. All disguised the real time of death.
Objection!
It's nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that's just not possible. But we just saw footage. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible here in the video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The IT tag on the jacket confirms beyond a doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket... Oh, it's on the ground. Then how could it possibly have wound up at the back of the crime scene? They put it back? I don't know. What's going on? That doesn't make sense. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did it get back in the lab? The killer brought it back? The killer brought it back? The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved.
Objection!
Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claim the jacket was there when they arrived. So, when do you propose the mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. When did the culprit have the chance to return the jacket? When the body was found at the time of the murder. When the body was found? The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Wright, do you realize the implications of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of the split second, to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body. I would never have thought of that. So Director Cosmos? Was he there? Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth? Well, the body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probes capsule in preparation for the Hat 1 launch. Oh, so Starbucks, Cosmos, and probably Blackwell, right? The Aura Blackwell. Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. I'll see to that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? We should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with a theater mask, it might mean that his facial data was once registered. Prosecutor Edgeworth, does this mean? I have to admit, I believe Miss Cykes' memories to be credible. You win, Wright. Not that this was ever official trial anyway. Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding? Is it true, boss? I don't believe it. I feel like we still have much more to go through. Doesn't mean I can't believe it. It's over. I won. I proved that Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial. Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial? That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to be to say I need no further prolong. I fucking butchered that, by the way. I see no need to further prolong, yeah. Not you either, Your Honor. Now silence. The little princess who was truly beloved by Metis and who repaid that love with death. All these years hating Athena was the only thing that kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anyone tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackwell, you need a fucking hobby. Unlike you, Aura, Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that... Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her! Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted! Then what did you want from her? Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Aura, there is something I wanted to say, if you will lend me your ear. I have in my possession a lead on whose Metis murderer is. You do? Right, don't know. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. The Phantom, the person Blackwell has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hat 1 rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew not about him, his background, his appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then, one day, a miracle occurred, and I attained a lead on him. Oh, exciting! What was the lead? A recording of the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I had hope. Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And the scientist was Dr. Cykes. Yes, the spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Cykes' results and recordings were surely among his targets. But his search of the Space Center bore no fruit, so he must have started to panic. He couldn't find them, but where could they have been? Who's to say? Wow, I bet he never let that out of his sight all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. Just adjusts himself. What's more, my partner is especially talented at these sorts of things. I worked to lower the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher. Became my taunt. And what about the results Dr. Cykes drew up for you? Were there any useful information? Here, you can see for yourself. Take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor. I will? I better hold on to these real tight. Tyler's emotion really fluctuate. He doesn't experience feelings like an old person. Ah! Relatable! Psychological profile classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation? Huh. A spy who experiences no emotions, not sadness nor anger, and naturally no fear. Well, panic, apparently. He's the very definition of a phantom or a psychopath. A monster with no heart, don't you see? This creature is the root that destroyed, the rot that destroyed our lives, and set what ails us all into motion. The Phantom indeed, a fitting name for the one who brought darkness to our world. Well then. Seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdict and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever! Do whatever you want! Huh. You'll hear no objections from me. Please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Very well, in that case. Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take the stand? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Cykes. Yes, Your Honor? Mr. Wright? Thank you. Thank you for everything. Hey, Athena, you owe me like $20,000. If everyone is ready, I will now... You're fucking totally not giving your verdict here, are you? The fucking lead-up is actually being dragged out so much. Yep, okay. Who is it? You! Apollo, okay. Apollo! What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago and saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet. Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us? Is it to be continued? Oh, you dick. Alright. So is he still gonna argue that Athena killed her mother? Cross-examining Apollo. Alright, well, I guess we'll do that next time. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all then. Have a great day. Bye.